Hello guys, Bill here, hoping you're having a good day. So what we're gonna do is we gonna get started. So we are skipping Python from like last I think 3-4 days. That's not a good sign, so at least we have to put something out there. So today we're gonna review. In the past video we were learning about the function of loops. Essentially, loop are where to do something over and over again, and we created some sort of like this sort of a file, and so here's the file. So initially this print meow 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 like 3 times. It's gonna print the meow. What we're using is a while loop. It's nearly universal throughout all coding languages. It will repeat the block of code over and over again in the context. So that's a while loop. I is equal to 3 while I is not equal to 0. So as far as I is not equal to 0, print meow. So notice, so the execution it's gonna be printing meow, meow, multiple times, and it will not stop because I is 3, and we put the condition like if I is not equal to 0, print uh meow. So okay, let's keep rolling. And then to fix this loop that lasts forever, we can add it out the code as well. So I is equal to 3, meanwhile I is not equal to 0, equal to print meow. I is equal to 1 minus 1. Okay, although I don't understand this part, but still, let's keep rolling. Notice how we now code execute properly. We can further improve our code as follow. I is equal to 1 while I is less than equal to 3, print meow. Notice that when we have code y is equal to I plus 1, we assign the value of I from the right to the left. I is equal to 0 while I is less than 3, print meow. I is plus equal to 1. So start with I is equal to 0. If I is less than 3, it's true, print I is greater than 3. If it's false, then stop. So the loop gonna be executing 3 times, and then the loop gonna be ending. Okay, interesting. Um, for the loop difference, the best way to understand loop is Python. Okay, for list definer. I is equal to n and all. Our code can be further improved. Notice how we can use. So basically, what we are trying to do is we are trying to create a loop, and that loop we are giving certain conditions. So many times we have to repeat that specific loop, and that's what we are doing right now. So perhaps we want to get into input from our users. We can use loops as a way of validating the input of the users. A common paradigm within the Python is using while loop. while true, n is equal to integer into input whatever what's n. If n is less than 0, continue else break. Notice that we introduce a new keyword in Python, continue and break. Continue explicitly tell Python to go on the next iteration of loop and breaking. Break on the loop, okay. If it turned out to continue part, okay. While true, n is equal to integer into input what's n. If n is less than 0, break. If n is in range, print me out. Bringing it out of prior learning, we can function to improve. Definition meow, get number, okay. More about lists. Consider the list as Hogwarts for the frame Harry Potter universe in terminal type. Hermione, Harry, Ron, print student 0, 1, 2, 3.
Figure out, well, how do I get a number from the user? The catch here is that if I want the user to give me a number, I'm not doing math per se, I'm meowing. And therefore, the user has to give me a positive value. The user has to give me a positive value. So how can I insist on this? Well, if I just do this, n equals int of input, what's n, question mark. Well, I want to check, like I could say if n is less than 0, like if it's negative, well, I could do this. Well, then ask again, int input what's n question mark. Okay, well, what if the user still doesn't give me a positive number? What if they're being really difficult, they're not paying attention, and they typed in 2 negative numbers? Well, if n is less than 0, well, let's do it again. N equals, right, this does not end well. You can't infinitely many times keep checking, is it negative, is it negative, is it negative, right? The program would never be done written. So we can do this, I think, better maybe with a loop. So let me propose this, a very common paradigm in Python when you want to get user input that matches a certain expectation you have, that it's all positive, that it's all negative, or just something like that. You just immediately say while true. You deliberately, and a little dangerously, but very conventionally, induce an infinite loop. Now, what is an infinite loop? It's just one that goes forever. And we've seen how that can happen accidentally, mathematically. It's absolutely going to happen when you say while true. Why? Well, the answer to the true question is always true. So this is a way of deliberately inducing a loop that, by default, is going to go forever. So we're going to need a way of breaking out of this loop when we have the number we want. The convention, though, inside of this otherwise an infinite loop is to ask the question you care about, like give me an int by prompting the user for input, like what's n question mark, and then just ask your question. So if n is less than 0, then I think we want Python to just continue to prompt the user again. That is, we want the code to stay in the loop, recall the input function, and hope that the user gives us a better answer if this time around it's less than 0. So let's just literally use Python's keyword continue, which says just that, continue to stay within this loop. Else, if it's not less than 0, let's go ahead and just break out of the loop altogether using another keyword in Python, break. Break will break you out of the most recently begun loop, in this case, if it's not the case that n is less than 0. So this will work, and it will allow us to get a value that's 0 or greater from the user. But I think we can tighten it up further so as to not bother having an if and an else. Why don't we instead just say,
Okay,
if n
guys.
is greater than 0,
Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the bare minimum. So we have to. We're gonna create this one without looking. Let's see what we got. Finally. Alrighty guys, see you tomorrow. So there was like little teeny tiny code that I wrote today. Um, you just have to like learn each day. You have to set your ceiling and set the floor. So today we hit the floor, 15 minutes. But yeah, if we still keep hitting the floor, the consistency matter. Eventually we'll starting to hit the ceilings as well. So thank you.